Hiya, loves. Welcome back to the Gaily Digest. I am Nigel.
And I am Joshua.
We are back this week with another full pack show, and we've even got a new feature that we're going to feature in this week's episode. Something that's going to become a bit of a regular, something that's going to be a little bit fun. And I'm going to give you a clue. It's going to be called Would You Rather, but we'll explain a little bit more later on in the show. We're going to have our usual elements of a little bit of news, some in conversation, and the moans in the complaint closet, where Josh is his usual moany old self. So, without further ado, let's crack on with the show. Let's start this week's episode with a little bit of news. Now, it's not news that's in the mainstream media, but it is something that has kind of gained a little bit of traction on social media. And that is the news about the fact that there is a new group on social media, particularly on Facebook. I think is it only Facebook, Josh? I mean, you know the group that I'm talking about.
It's always Facebook, the cause of everything. Everything wrong with the world starts on Facebook.
But yes, it's the group on Facebook that is called the Right Wing Gays. Now, where do we start with that? How do we unpick all of this?
I don't know. It's a phenomenon that I will never understand.
Yeah, but it's not just that. You got the fact that there's images of people saying, "Oh, I'm so and so. I wanted to introduce myself, and here's a picture I took," and then it's clearly
You,
AI.
you're going to mention the Nigel Farage one?
Yeah,
'Cause I'm
the
such a
twink with
big,
Farage.
I am such a big supporter. And then his arm, there's no arm, but there's a hand, and it's just floating.
Yeah, but the hand seems to be coming out of his stomach. And
Uh,
it's like it was actually you that pointed that out to me. You sent me the picture and you went, Where's his arm?"
and he was
And I
holding a
thought,
glass of champagne or something as well with a floaty hand. It's a miracle.
I know, but yeah, it just baffles me that you've got. I mean, okay, people we live in a democratic society, and people have the right to have their own views on and their own politics and their own stances. But I just fail to understand why you would get a group of people that are a targeted minority by the right, um, and then they will support them. It's almost like a turkey voting for Christmas, isn't it?
There is a
Don't you think?
theme to them in the group, though. If you look at the group, it's all practically cis white men.
Twats.
No, it's all cis white men that have so much privilege that they can't see that none of these people on the far right like them,
Mm.
and now none of the people on the left like you either.
I just find it baffling, and I mean it's gained a lot of traction. I mean I had a message with some screenshots of people that are in the group. I'm mutual friends with them, and they sent me. To be fair to them, they sent me the message with the screenshots saying, "I'm not sure if you realise. I just wanted to let you know." And it's like, oh my god, there are some people that I'm mutual friends with that are in that group, and I'm actually disgusted by it
It is
because
bizarre.
I I just don't I don't understand the why you would be so supportive of certain politics that want to strip you of your rights and your equality, things that we've strived for over several decades.
I think a lot of the gays that are in that group and stuff, I think, and especially the more prominent ones like Crafty Wank, they they do it because it gets them attention and they like the attention. They like the drama. So I think a lot of them do it because they love the drama and they love the attention.
Mm,
But there's a lot of the other ones, it's because simply they're just racist pieces of shit. That's basically it. It's simple as that. They're
yeah.
racists. They don't like anyone who isn't white. They don't like trans people. La da 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 da. That's literally what it is.
See, I don't get how I fail to understand people that are from a minority group that will then happily discriminate against other minority groups, because you would kind of have a level of empathy or understanding as to what those minority groups have experienced themselves in the faces of discrimination. And yet there you are discriminating against them when you yourself have probably faced a similar kind of discrimination, but like a variation on a theme, for example. Because essentially discrimination is the kind of discrimination we see against minority groups is based upon something about that person that they physically cannot change. And it just doesn't make sense at all.
I think it is because of their privilege. Most of them are always cis white guys, and I think a lot of them are lucky enough to not have experienced discrimination, because being white does shield them from a lot of that. And I think that gives them this false sense of security where they think that they can have these views and that they'll be fine. But it always comes back to yourself in the end. Like the far right don't just stop at one group. It just moves on to the next thing. And eventually it comes back round again. And then it's going to be you, and there's no one going to be there to look after you or stick up for you because you just sold them all off earlier.
It's like the circle of discriminatory life.
Yeah, but it's like, I'm going to be vague. Nigel told me I had to be vague and I wasn't allowed to say names. So I'm going to say...
Or anything that could identify someone. Because this is a legal minefield.
Let me choose carefully. On one of my social medias, someone was friends with for years. He's a saggy old white guy. He's gay. And
I
didn't use his name. And he thought it would be funny to post an AI video of a Jewish person mocking an Arab person and using harmful tropes such as the Arab guy having a pet camel and that he has sex with goats and stuff. And I called it out. And then rather than say, I shouldn't have shared that, which, to be fair, if you would have said that, I still would have said, you thought about it, you downloaded that video, you posted that video, so you've already lost it. But rather than say sorry or anything, he just deleted the video and then did another post saying, can't make jokes nowadays, so woke. And I was like, so then I called him out again. And I was like, it's not woke to call you out on your racist bullshit. And then I did a bit of digging because he was on my Facebook as well. So I thought I need to get him off that. He's in that group. He's in that far right group because I don't really use Facebook. So when I went to check, and then he's liked some reform stuff.
Oh.
I saw that he liked some on GB News. See, it all leads back to the same pile of shit.
Talking of reform, one thing I do want to say is congratulations to Count Binface for getting nearly 10,000 votes in the Clacton by-election, because I think that was incredible. I think that's Count Binface's best ever result in any election that Count Binface has stood in. Well
the thing
done.
is, Reform keep putting this on as a win, don't they? Just so you know, Nigel clapped them, but it didn't come through his mic because he's got the noise cancellation on. But Reform
maybe I'll put some clapping sound effects over that.
Should do that. Reform pushing this as a win, and I can't help but see it as completely humiliating because his biggest opponent was a guy with a dustbin on his head. None of the bigger parties ran with it, and all the people that were doing it were like the monster raving loony party and people wearing spider hats, and there's a man with the bin on his head and stuff. And
it was
like,
farcical.
Well, Nigel Farage got 1,000 more votes than last time. That's an increase of 2% or something. And I was like, Count Binface had like an increase of 1,000%.
But think about it, right? That was 2 years ago, yeah?
Yeah.
in the last 2 years, there are more people that have come of age that are the voting age that may have been additional
Brainwashed.
voters. That may be additional voters. Let's just put that. There may be more people that have moved to Clacton in that time.
I just love that nearly 10,000 people would rather vote for a man with a bin on his head than a frog-faced cunt.
You actually
spelt
spelt the word. You actually spelt the word.
I didn't say it.
No, usually you say C word, and that is how you
say
that.
I think he deserved it. I'm going to be nice. I'm going to give him the spelling of it.
Okay. But yeah, right-wing gays. If you see that group, block it.
What's wrong with them? They need to be studied. I've said this. I always say this. We need to do a study on them. Something's not right. Something's in their water.
Yeah, something's definitely in their water.
Lead.
It's time for our chat. It's in conversation. This week, we are talking about LGBTQ plus allies. Now, we're posing a question about our LGBTQ plus allies, and the question is going to be, should they listen more or should they speak up more? Now, it's an interesting take, because I think as a community, we wouldn't be where we are without our allies. And our allies are so important to us. So it kind of begs the question of, should they speak up more? Should they listen more? Especially in current times where we are facing a lot more criticism, a lot more hate online and out on the streets. Our rights are under attack. Trans people's rights are under attack. And I think we're living in a period at the moment where I think we just have to be more careful, more vigilant. And, pride events are being cancelled left, right and centre because of funding being pulled. So, as I say, our allies are so important to us, aren't they, Josh?
Yes. Is this where you want me to step in, or are you going to ask me questions?
Well, I kind of want you to step in here, but also, I'm going to ask you the question: should allies talk more or listen more? What's your thoughts?
I think it depends on the situation. I think that if you're listening to someone's experience, you should just listen. You don't always need to give your opinion or advice, because your advice, you can give advice, but sometimes your advice might not match because it is different. It's a different situation. It's different scenarios.
What about if they're listening, but they have questions about people's experiences and they want to ask about those experiences?
Again, I think it depends on the individual. Myself, as long as you're being respectful, I don't mind you asking me a question, because I can say, I don't really want to talk about that, or I don't feel comfortable answering that. And I think if someone said that and you went, okay, that's fine, sorry about that. But I think, again, it depends how personal and how much you know this person. If you've only just met them, you shouldn't really ask them things that are very personal.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
But I think everyone should listen more. I think that's something we don't really do much as a society anymore. We don't listen enough. We don't listen to people and take it in. But again, I think allies do need to speak up more as well, because a lot of the time, especially straight allies, they just think that they can wave a flag at Pride and then that's it for the year. They've not got to worry about it for the rest of the year, or they've got to buy a product with a Pride flag on it, and then they can brag about, oh, I'm getting this because it's Pride, and then that's it. They don't do anything else. And I think they do need to step up more. And I know it can be uncomfortable for them, but that seems to be a you problem. It says more about you if it makes you uncomfortable to talk about defending people.
Mm.
Especially like if you hear someone in your group say something that is homophobic or transphobic or something like that, call it out, because it's going to be more uncomfortable for them than you.
Yeah.
Say that's not okay. You shouldn't say stuff like that. And if the rest of your group don't agree with you, you're in the wrong groups.
Yeah. So my take on it is obviously listening is always a starting point. It's always a starting point for our allies to be able to learn more about us as individuals, but also us as a community. So the starting point should always be they should be listening. They should be learning, trying to learn about us, learn what it's like to be gay, what it's like to face discrimination, why it impacts us as individuals or as a community. Because I think that they have to be able to understand us, understand what not what makes us tick, but what affects us, what impacts us, so that they are then empowered to have the understanding to be able to speak out, to be able to challenge any homophobia. Because let's be honest, there can be some uses of language like slurs and stuff like that that aren't always obviously homophobic, because they could be quite ambiguous. There's obvious ones, like the F word slur, for example, the P word slur, that are fairly obvious that they are homophobic terms. Now, without that understanding, they might not always know what's a slur and when to challenge. So I think the importance is any new allies should always listen, learn, feel empowered to ask questions, and be quite openly defending LGBTQ plus rights, understanding what we've had to fight for over the past umpteen years, the struggles members of our community still face, such as the trans community, for example, and understand, and understand why, particularly with the trans community as well, why they feel the way they feel about how their rights are under attack, and the whole issue around the bathroom debacle. Telling them they're not allowed to use the bathroom that is their gender. They've got to use the bathroom that is associated with their biological sex at birth, which is a whole new can of worms that's been opened because of
technically, that's not actually even the law. It's just guidance.
I know, but there are places that are enforcing that as a rule, as a condition of entry and stuff like that. There are workplaces that are enforcing that, but there's a lot of places that are defiant and saying, nope, we're going to keep doing it as we've done it, as we've been doing it, and that they're all inclusive, which I think is brilliant.
I think that's the way it should be, and then how a lot of businesses will probably be scared of the consequences. I think that if you can still
they're scared of being sued by the witch,
the mold queen, but like the ones that are saying no, we're not gonna do this, and even though people are saying we're gonna boycott you, and they're like, okay, that's real allyship, because even the consequences you don't care because you know it's the right thing to do. Like, what they're going to do anyway? Have people bloody with some sort of special scanner or something outside every toilet every time you want to go in there? So, and in fact, I've heard that the police have been called on trans men going into female bathrooms, which they've now told to do, and now they're calling the police on them.
I think that happened in America, didn't it?
They're calling it, saying there's a man in the bathrooms. Oh, so you understand then? They're a man. They shouldn't be in that room. Do you know what I mean? So You can't make it. It's ridiculous. They've actually rolled their own rights back. It just makes no sense.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like we've said before, isn't it? You know, if they're saying that a trans person's got to use a toilet that is associated with their sex, biological sex at birth, then that's saying that trans men have to use the ladies' toilets, which then means you could get a big butch trans man with a great big beard
Look more manly than
and
I do. You know what I mean?
and well, that's not difficult. Um, but then they've got to go into the ladies' toilets. They then walk into the ladies' toilets. How uncomfortable are those ladies going to feel?
And the
Thinking,
trans person themselves. You know what I mean? Terrified.
exactly. You know, it's uncomfortable for everybody involved, and the ladies that are in there are going to turn around and say, "There's a man in the toilets. There's a man in the toilets. Get him out. Get him out." And it's like, well, they're following the guidance, you know. But going back to allies and speaking out. You obviously mentioned about challenging anything that's homophobic. There's a question that comes out of that: should allies challenge prejudice even when no LGBTQ plus person is present?
Yes.
Absolutely.
I think
No, I agree with that.
not similar situation for myself is, I'm not going to name names, but some people in my life, I've heard them say things that I would say are definitely a bit like they're racist. And I don't just stay quiet. I don't know what it is. It just comes out of me, and I'm like, you can't say that. And then if I say, why can't I say it? I go, because that's racist. That's not okay. And it just comes out of me. I just say, you can't say that.
Yeah.
Even if it makes the atmosphere a bit awkward, I just say, you cannot say that. That is not okay. So yeah, if I heard somebody saying something that was transphobic and there wasn't anybody who is trans in the group, I would still say, you can't say that. Why do you think it's okay to say that? And I'll turn it on themselves and I'll say, why do you think it's okay for you to say that about somebody else that you don't understand? Make them feel uncomfortable. That's usually what I would do.
And I think that's the thing with allies, isn't it? And the empowerment for the allies. It's like, you know, we have allies for the LGBTQ plus community, but then I think if you look at it, we're allies for each other. So whereas like you and I are gay, there are other people within the community that are lesbians, you know, and we would be supportive of lesbians. So we're lesbians allies. There are people that are bisexual within the community. So, you know, gay people, lesbians will be allies to bisexual people. And the same can be said as lesbians, gays, bisexual people are allies to our trans siblings within the community. And that's how it should be. We should all be supporting each other, standing by each other, and understanding each other's struggles, each other's battles that we've had in the past and that we're having going into the future. You know, and I'm proud to call myself a trans ally because I think what they're facing is absolutely horrific at the moment. It's absolutely abhorrent with the discrimination that they're facing, and I don't know about you, but it just feels like it's constant.
It is an
doesn't seem
unbelievable obsession in the media.
It does not seem like it's relenting. And comments that I see on social media as well. You know,
this will be in the history books in the future. This is going to be a whole. I can imagine this being a whole segment in history class in the future because it's that horrific.
But this is the thing. It's like it just seems relentless. And I you know, and I think back to thinking how this is what it was like for the gay community many years ago.
I think it's
but I think it's
actually
probably worse
because it's
I
social
think it's
media.
Worse.
Because of social media and the amount of papers and news.
Social media is definitely amplifying it a lot more because you've got people on social media that are hiding behind anonymous profiles. They're creating multiple anonymous profiles just to be abusive.
And they can find people's works, they can find people's addresses, they can find like their own businesses. You know what I mean? They can track
And
them
this,
down.
I
It's
mean,
on the news.
this is why you have to be careful with social media about putting too much information about yourself out there so that you can be tracked down and identified. You know, things like Facebook have the ability, you can put your place of work on that, you can list your place of work, and you can list your town you live in as this, that, and the other. All it takes is someone to click on your profile, and they've got loads of information that they can then use to try and track you down. You know, if you're in the phone book, for example, they can then find your address. You know, if they know where you live, roughly where you live, they can find you in the phone book, and that's it. They've got your address and stuff
Well,
like that.
like I've said in the past, when I defended trans people, and then the mold queen started on me.
Hmm.
Back then, I had my hometown on my profile, and I had my full name on my socials, and they found where my uni was. They emailed my uni to try and get me kicked out. They
They
found
doxed you.
they found where I lived, the town I was in. They was threatening to find me and all this stuff. So I don't have my full name now anywhere. I just use my first name. And yeah, I can't imagine being trans and every single day. Like, I can put the radio on in the morning and I can guarantee within an hour I'm going to hear about trans people twice at least. A segment about them. And I'm just thinking, and as soon as I hear it, I'm just like, the question's like, should we be worried about toilets? And my head straight away, I'm like, it's 8 o'clock in the morning. Everyone's having a cup of tea or something and some toast, and you're talking about who's in what toilet.
Should we be worried about toilets? No, unless you're falling in it.
All I care about is, are they clean? I do not care about who's using them. As long as it's clean, I only want to go in there and use the toilet. We
At the
just
end
have
of the
this
day,
bizarre
people
obsession.
just want to go in there to go to the toilet. That is literally what they want.
And I think because we've mentioned the mold queen several times, we should talk about the performative fake allies, because she is a fake ally. I don't know what it is lately, because I'm not on shitter anymore, Twitter. I've not been on there for about 2 and odd years, but people share her screenshots on Blue Sky and stuff. She genuinely thinks she's like an ally to the gays and the lesbians. The far right gays love her, but she actually thinks that she's helping save the gays. And I can't. And I just feel like every time I see her post, I'm like, will you just piss off? Like, genuinely, you are not an ally. You do not speak for me. Everything you stand for goes against everything about me. Keep me out of your mouth. And I just hate how she keeps talking for gay people. Like, she's not even part of the LGBT community at all. She's not even an ally. She's not a part of it at all. But she seems to think that she's some sort of spokesperson for saving our lives when she's the one. I bet you if it was 20 years ago, she probably would have been going for the gays as well. She probably will eventually. But I'm just sick of people being fake allies. They're only an ally when it benefits them.
What do you mean by that?
But a lot of people, they pretend to be allies because it gets them business or it gets them jobs and all this stuff.
So you mean fake? You mean fake allies, not genuine allies?
No, I said performative.
Ah.
Did I say genuine? I says they're not genuine. I do mumble a lot. You probably thought I said genuine. But yeah, I don't know if you've seen her doing it, but she genuinely thinks that she's some sort of, and she did that post years ago. I love trans people. I just think that they should have separate bathrooms or whatever. And I'm like, no, you don't. You're lying. You're a twat.
And she's happy to fund legal cases, isn't she? Using her.
In fact, that's another thing you can talk about allies as well.
Using her wizard money.
The people who say they're trans allies, the gays, and then they buy their shitty wizard game, or they watch the shitty wizard show and the shitty wizard films and books.
Yeah, your money is going towards funding.
She has actually said all of the money that she gets for that brand, she puts directly into a fund to fight against trans people. So you're actually paying, your money's going to attack trans people, and then they'll do a post saying Happy Trans Pride Day or something. Like, bitch, I can see that you're playing shitty wizard game on the Switch. I was friends with you and I could see you playing it. You know what I mean? Or I can see your selfie and behind you I can see the shitty wizard books. Why are they not in the bin? That's a fake ally.
Mm. So
You thinking of the next question, are you?
I am. I'm kind of looking through my notes here. Now, do you think that LGBTQ plus people actually want allies to speak for them, or speak up for them, or speak with them?
I think the last two. So I
Well,
think
actually, it was two, but I kind
actually
of
it was
changed.
three.
I kind of amended. Well, I amended the first one. Speak for them, speak up for them is
I think
this.
speaking up for us. So basically, like I said, calling stuff out. So if you hear something that's not okay, call it out. Speak up for us. Um, but I think I wouldn't personally want someone speaking for me in a lot of ways unless it was to amplify someone else's story. So I
Mm,
think if you're straight, like say you're an MP or something, and one of your constituents who's gay came up to you and told you their story, like we've got people who've escaped the Jehovah's Witness thing, the conversion therapy, and they've gone to
mm,
their some MPs, and then the MPs have brought it up in Parliament, and they're not gay, they're straight, but they've brought up that story.
mm.
That's kind of speaking for us, but it's channeling us through you to speak for us because we can't get to that level.
Yeah,
But I think if you're speaking for us in your own way, but you don't have our version of it to fully understand it, that's where I think the issue is. Because I don't think you
mm,
can really. It's like I couldn't fully speak for trans people unless I listen to them, and I try and understand how they feel and what they experience, and then I can say, I spoke to this person and they told me they went through this. I can't imagine that, but what do you think we should do to prevent this? That's speaking for them, but it's through their stories.
yeah,
I think that's how it should be. But I think if you speak for people and you don't have any, you've not listened to those very people and had their experiences, and you don't share those experiences at all, I don't think you really can speak for them because you don't really grasp it.
yeah, yeah. No, I get that. I'm going to wrap this up now because obviously I mean, we could talk about this for quite some time, but we are limited with the time that we have for the episodes. Excuse me, getting a bit of a dry throat.
It's all that
Um,
whiskey you drink. Yeah.
but yeah, so allies. The question is obviously, should allies talk more or listen more? Listeners, what do you think? Let us know on socials, in the comments, on the posts, on the release of this when it's out. Let us know your thoughts. Now, welcome to our new segment that we are introducing and bringing in to this episode, and we're going to hope to bring you this in every episode going forward. Something a little bit more fun to take away from all the serious stuff that we talk about in the episodes. This is a segment called Would You Rather? Now, I'm going to explain the rules of this, and they're fairly straightforward, so even Josh should be able to understand them. I'm getting dirty looks now.
Would you rather Nigel just get on with this or give a speech?
I've got to explain the rules, Josh. I've got to explain the rules so that people understand what we're doing. So, would you rather is I'm going to ask you a question, and you're going to ask me a question, and it's going to be would you rather, and it's going to be would you rather do this, would you rather do that, would you rather have this, have that, and we have to pick one of the options, one of the two options. We cannot refuse to answer. We cannot make another answer. We have to answer with one of the points that is raised. And not just that, but we have to explain why as well.
You do know I'm going to come with like a whole backstory for whatever I have to choose.
Okay.
Be
And it can be
prepared.
as rude, funny, vulgar, anything. Okay. So, Joshua,
Nigel.
my first one for you is would you rather
Oh God. Mm.
sniff a used baby's nappy or one of Donald Trump's used nappies?
A baby's nappy. Come on. I'm not even going to struggle with that. I'd survive. At least I'd survive that.
Why would you prefer the baby's nappy over Donald
I
Trump's
wouldn't
nappy?
prefer it. It'd just be more survivable because I don't know what I'd catch from Trump's because he's basically dead. So it's going to be like all necrosis and stuff.
You'd probably catch the right-wing virus. You'd be in the right-wing gays group, wouldn't you?
Oh, is that how you get it? Sniffing Trump's dirty nappies. I didn't even need to think about that one.
That was quite quick and easy for you, wasn't it? I'm going to need
Yeah.
to think of something more,
The way I like it.
something more, something more challenging for you. Right. What have you got for me then?
I have none because I was not aware that I had to do any.
I told you in the planning for
Okay,
this
I'll
that you
just
had
come up.
to.
I'll just come up with them on my head because I can think of all these things just because I know what gets under your skin.
Oh no.
Oh yes, what can I think of? I want to think of ones that'll just make you feel really gross.
Oh no.
Would you rather eat?
God.
Aren't you ready for this?
Hmm.
Would you rather eat a raw chicken that's been left in the garden in 38-degree weather for a week, or suck Nigel Farage's toes? Each toe, every single toe, and you can't skip a
Chicken.
toe.
The chicken. The chicken every day.
Probably
The
tastes
chicken.
better, and you're vegan, so that speaks volumes. I actually felt quite sick talking about that. The end of it.
I don't want to catch anything and end up in the right wing gays group. No. Yeah, it'd be the chicken all day long because the chicken's probably got more life in it, to be honest.
Yeah.
And it would probably taste better. Oh dear.
Your turn when you're done drinking whiskey.
My turn. No, we're only doing one each.
Oh, is that it? That's a bit boring.
Yeah.
I think we should do two. I think we should do two.
You think we should do two?
See, I'm changing it already. If I knew I only had one go, Nigel, I would have picked something even worse.
Okay then. Would you rather bottom for Nigel Farage or bottom for Donald Trump? You've got to pick one.
Let me try and think. Well, the rumors are that Trump's willy doesn't work, so he probably couldn't get it in anyway.
Right.
And apparently it's really little, so he probably couldn't do it even if he tried.
Right.
So that might be easier. It'd just be like poking you with a what's it, literally. And then hopefully the strain of trying to get
with a what's it?
The strain of having to take Viagra and stuff might kill him off. So I might get to actually see that in person as well.
So you're opting to be bottomed by Donald Trump?
Only if he has to take Viagra and it might give him a heart attack.
No caveats. No caveats. The question is, would you rather be bottomed
Well, like
by...
I said, apparently he's got a tiny little what's it penis, so I wouldn't even feel it. I wouldn't even know.
Yeah, you can't make caveats for that. It's either would you
I'm not.
bottom for...
I gave my answer, but I embellished on the answer.
So Donald Trump then.
Sure. He's a
vulgar.
Vulgar. I can go vulgar if you want me to go vulgar, Nigel.
No.
Let's see. What should I ask Nigel? Let's go really vulgar, just to make Nigel feel really cringe. Would you rather have come in your mouth or come in your bum?
Oh, Josh.
Sorry, Nigel. I had to go really vulgar, especially after what you just put me through with that last question. But remember, you've got to answer.
The latter one, the second one.
You got to say the answer, Nigel. So I would prefer, and then say which one. Wait in.
I can't stop laughing.
This is your segment. Come on.
Oh no. Oh dear, I might have to trim that. I might have to cut that down a bit. Come in, Bibum.
Right, I'm going to make that my new voice tone when everyone rings me. When Nigel texts me, it's going to go, come in my bum.
Oh, yeah. That's.
There you go. See, that was more fun with two.
I think only because the first ones were a bit mild
Nauseating.
compared. Mild. But yeah, that's Would You Rather. We will be back with more Would You Rather in a couple of weeks' time in our next episode. So we're going to move on. We'll leave you with those thoughts. No Josh being bottomed. It's now time for Josh to be a moany old bitch. It's the complaints closet.
That was
Hello.
so camp.
Hi.
That was the campiest you've ever been.
Yes, well, I've learned from you. Complaints closet. What's your complaint this week, Josh? What are you going to moan about?
Now listen, I know I'm miserable,
Yes.
but my complaint this week is charity workers.
Josh.
Listen, no, let me embellish on what I mean. You know the ones that are like in the town that chase you down?
Charity muggers, yeah.
Now they've upgraded it. They come to your door.
Oh.
They come to your house.
So they're now charity burglars.
No, but I'm very empathetic and I feel people's emotions and I get really awkward because I'm possibly autistic. So I'm really uncomfortable with social interactions and stuff. And I had a few months ago, someone came about the hospice for like people dying and made me sign up to a monthly donation for that. And I couldn't say no because she started talking about her granddad that was in hospice and died slowly and horribly and stuff. So I thought, well, I can't say no, can I? It's awkward. So I've signed up to that. Then I had two different people at the same week about an animal charity. And they were giving me sad stories about a dog being left in the side of a road tied up to a barrier. And I thought, well, great. So now I'm going to have to do this because apparently that's going to save the dog. And then 2 days ago, during the eclipse, so I missed it because he was talking for ages. It was for St. John's Air Ambulance. And he kept going. I says, can I apply online? Because that's my new thing to try and get out of it. Can I apply online? Because I'm already doing 3 different charities every month. He goes, you can, but then they won't know that lovely me came here and talked you into doing it. And I'm sure you don't want them to not know that. And I thought, well, that's just made me feel guilty now. They guilt tripped me. So then I signed up to that. What's wrong with me?
You're too nice.
I'm signed up to 4 different charities.
Nice. You do know you can stop that at any point, don't you?
Yeah, but then I feel like I'm just going to like be evil. And then he was like, do you want to donate £10, £20, £30 or £40 a month? I was like, what? We're in a cost of living crisis? £40? And then he was like, I'm sure you want to be nice and join all your lovely neighbours that have done it today. And I thought, you really are playing the game. And they sent a little Twinkie bloke
Does he even know your neighbours?
Does he know me?
Well, obviously.
He said,
He knows how much of a soft touch you are.
I can guarantee none of my neighbours did that because they're all like reform voters. But they sent around a little Twinkie bloke, a little.
Oh yeah.
Little Twinkie bloke.
Oh yeah.
And then he complimented me straight away, saying when I gave my date of birth, he was like, "Oh, you don't look 36. I thought you was in your mid-20s." Played me like a fool. So now I'm signed up to 4 charities.
You know what? That's the complete opposite of my experience with someone that came to my door, which was a delivery driver for a company. They need to verify my age on a product that my delivery was. So I gave my date of birth, and he turned around and went, and he was quite camp. He turned around, "Oh, you're the same age as my mum." Yeah, thanks.
She's 56.
Yeah, thanks. Fuck off.
But But yeah, so now I'm scared to answer the door because if it's another charity person, I end up signing up to it and I can't get away from them. The thing is, when I have like religious people come, like the Jehovah's, I immediately go, no, I believe in dinosaurs, and I'll shut the door. But I can't do it with these charities. They guilt trip me. They talk about like, especially animal ones.
What you should do, you should have a pride flag doormat.
Well, I think I'm blacklisted now from the Jehovah's because they haven't came round since I told them I was gay. But like it's the same when I go into Pets at Home and they have that dog's dinners for Christmas. Even if I go in there just for like some dog biscuits, every time I go in I have to donate something because they say it's to feed homeless dogs and I can't not do it. But these charity people now, they're coming to my door and then they're like taking all my bank details and they won't let me do it online. And then if they're coming around for charities, it's like this Santa one at Christmas. They have like a Santa go around in a grotto for charity. And I said to them last year, oh, I don't have any cash because I don't literally have cash. I never do. And she went, oh, it's all right, we do contactless. And she pulled out a card reader. And I thought, but now I can't say no. I respect it, but I can't say no now.
Do you know what I do? Do you know what I do? So this is how I deal with them. So what I do is when they come to my door, even though they show ID and whatever, verified badges, whatever, I always say that I don't sign up to things on my doorstep because you can get scammers, and I always make it clear that I'm not saying you're a scammer, but it's like when people cold call on the phone trying to get you to sign up to things. I said I do not give my details, my bank details or anything, or sign up to any direct debits when people just cold call. I said, and I say that I do it for, I say that to absolutely everyone. I literally will not sign up to anything on the doorstep. It's a good charity, this, that, and the other. Give me the website. I'll have a look at it. I'll have a think about it, and if I want to donate, I'll donate.
I just feel ambushed.
I don't let them guilt trip me.
They're very good at it though, because like they heard my dog barking, like, oh, I can see that you love animals. So if you love animals, you really want to help these animals out. And I'm just like, I just think it's very evil. I feel like it's just really evil because they're like, they're ambushing me on the door and they have all these tactics that guilt trip me. And as I said, I'm really socially awkward. Like I'm not good with social interactions with new people.
Yeah.
I get really uncomfortable. So I'm just like, okay. Because then they'll leave me alone. So God knows what I'm going to do if another one comes. I'm just going to have this long list. I've got like £30 going a month on charities. Because they keep doing, and then they pick like the middle price. Like, oh, do you want to do £40 a month, or are you more of a £20 person? I'm like, drop that right down. Go right down to the lowest one. And then he said, and he also said, we're trying to raise 11 million. I don't know if you have that in the house with you. And I went, first of all, if I had 11 million in this house, I'm not going to tell you. Second of all, if I had £11 million, I wouldn't be answering the door myself. Someone else would.
You'd have your own little butler, wouldn't you?
I'd have a sprinkler system I can turn on. And then just to annoy me more, I missed the eclipse. He went, oh, it's got dark. Is it the eclipse? I wanted to see that. And I was like, yeah, so did I. I stood here having to fill in this bloody form. And I had to keep standing there because the signal kept going because I live in the middle of nowhere. Then he asked to use my Wi-Fi. Because he couldn't get signal, and I went, no, sorry, I don't have internet. So I managed to lie about that, which I think he clearly knew I was lying. But acting to use my bloody internet, cheek. I should have charged him a fee for that.
Do you know how he knew you were lying?
Because I had a Virgin box outside the front that you stood next to.
And you got a Ring doorbell that only uses the internet.
Yeah, but I didn't think that through, did I?
And a Ring alarm system and Ring cameras that all use the internet.
And a smart home car charger outside near the gate.
Yep.
But yeah,
the clues were there.
I just feel like I need help with tactics to get rid of these people. Because this one ambushed me because I was already in the garden, watering the garden, so he got me.
How about a little sticker on your gate or your door, no cold callers?
Can I just say piss off? Am I allowed to have a sticker saying go away, piss off? Or could I get in trouble for that?
You can.
Although then my parcels might not come.
You could say, I mean,
Unless,
you could say
unless it's
no
a
cold callers.
parcel, unless it's mail, piss off. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go sticker saying that.
Yeah, but you know what's going to happen now is any cold callers that are male still
Shit.
knock.
Oh yeah. See, I don't know. I'm gonna have to just start checking my doorbell before answering, and then just ignore
Hmm.
them. I'll do that thing where you crawl on the floor to hide from the windows.
Yeah, but the problem is you'll go to answer your ring doorbell and try to say sorry, not in, but
And
they'll
they'll
hear
hear
the dogs
me.
barking, or they'll hear the dogs
Yeah.
barking, and they'll hear the dogs barking and you talking. So it'll be like
See, traitors.
Mm.
Traitor dogs.
either that or slip out the back way,
Oh,
go down the bottom of
hello.
your garden and say, yeah, sorry, not in.
Yeah, but then my Wi-Fi cut off.
That's true.
Then I wouldn't have Wi-Fi. But yeah, that's my problem. I don't know whether you have that around your area, but honestly, lately, this is 4 people I've signed up for now in the last like 8 weeks.
Mm.
And I just don't know what's happening. And the fact they keep pulling out, and I know that Santa person's going to be coming again soon. They even have one for Halloween. They come round loads of kids for charity dressed up, and then they bring a card reader. So now I turn all my lights off and everything because I can't be dealing with them. They have card readers now, so you can't even just chuck them a few pence. Now they've got card readers. They're everywhere. Can't escape them. I've had enough. I'm going to start hosing them to get rid of them. I'm just going to use the hose. That's what I'm going to do.
You can't. There's currently a hose pipe ban.
Yeah, but technically I'm disabled, so I think I'm allowed to use a hose pipe. I think that's a loophole.
Is that the loophole?
I'm pretty sure if you're disabled, you are allowed to use a hose pipe.
Mhm.
I heard it on the radio. So if you're
Well,
disabled and you have a cold caller, you can use your hose pipe, just so you know.
I
To
wouldn't
water your
recommend that because
plants. Just to water your plants. Anyway,
yeah,
I'm ranting about charity again.
you are. I think you've almost taken up all the time for this segment.
You're welcome.
Because we are running out of time. Which is lucky really, because I couldn't remember what my complaint was.
You're going to complain about me complaining too long.
No, no, I genuinely could not remember what my complaint was, and then it came to me.
Okay, go on then.
It was that bloody emergency alert that we had this week.
Oh God, don't get me started, Nigel.
I'm not going to get you started.
How many did you get?
How many did I get? I got 2.
I had 6.
My dad got 3. My dad said he got 3.
Oh, did someone slip on the button with a stutter?
I don't know. But yeah, I got 2. I was the first one I got whilst I was at home. The second one I got whilst I was walking Molly. I was in the middle of the woods. No, I was walking around no, I was dog walking. I was walking around the field, and then
Whatever you want to call it.
just as I was about to go into the woods, the second one went off. But yeah, the first one went off. I was here, and it's so bloody loud.
I know.
It's so bloody loud.
Yeah, it just bothered. And then I was trying to watch some YouTube videos, and it kept going off, and I was like, if this interrupts my video one more time. I was like, I get it. I can't use a barbecue. It's like, what time was it? Like 8:30? When was it? I don't remember.
Just gone 7. I think it was about 7:15, the first
like,
one, and
it's
then
7:15. I'm old. I'm in bed with a cup of tea. I'm not doing a barbecue. Why don't you let me know in the morning that I can't have a barbecue?
To be fair, I think that was sent out on advice of the fire service, though, wasn't it?
But tell me at the start of the day.
I think the fire service were getting overwhelmed with calls and jobs relating to wildfires and stuff like that. So it was more about wildfires, and it was about making sure that we're aware of what can cause them or what can contribute to them. So
I just feel like it didn't warrant a national alert. I feel like that's for when Trump pushes the button finally or something like that, or there's a tsunami coming. I feel like people, especially the people in that far right gay group, they're now gonna go out and buy these barbecues just to stick their finger up to the government, calling it a nanny state. They're probably going to set fireworks off on purpose. And do you know what else they should have mentioned? They should have mentioned them bloody lanterns that people keep flying in the air. Have you seen them? So like, rest in peace, grandma or something, and then they burn down someone's house because it lands on their garden and sets fire to everything. Why is that not mentioned?
I must admit though, I did see a funny, I say a funny post. It was obviously tongue in cheek, and it was quite funny, and it was basically someone saying, that bloody emergency alert just scared the shit out of me. I just knocked over my disposable barbecue, and now the garden's on fire.
See, that's funny.
Obviously, it was a joke. It was hilarious. It tickled me. It was really funny.
But the thing
But
is,
yeah,
if people are stupid enough to need to be told not to put a open flame onto really dry grass,
do an
a te-
emergency alert for stupid people.
an emergency alert isn't going to teach them anything because they're stupid.
Hmm.
They're still going to do it. They'll probably do it in their kitchen now, thinking that it's safer, and then they'll burn their house down.
Thing is, I think the emergency alert is significantly a new thing for the UK. I think America's had it for a lot longer than we have.
But what I think
Um,
though, I know we joke about it, but you need to also think that there's a lot of people that are in domestic violence situations where they have second
they
phones that
they
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 hide.
can they can turn that off
Yeah, but
as an option.
if they don't know that and they didn't expect this,
Mm.
it's an emergency alert, literally about you can't have a
Does it switch
barbecue.
does it switch your phone on?
I don't know, but they might have it on silent and vibrate off and
Mm.
everything for an emergency. And then it's like, oh, sorry, Helen, you can't have a barbecue, so we're going to make your phone scream really loud, so then your abuser can hear this secret phone you've got. When you overlook the comedy of it, it's situations like that. And I had my grandma messaging me, think she was panicking, thinking that there was a fire and it was going to kill her or something, because she couldn't understand because it said national alert emergency, there's a fire or something. She was panicking, thinking that she was going to die. I was like, no, it's just saying you can't have a barbecue. She went, is that it? And she was like, during the war, that's when I would have had this saying there's bombs coming, but no, you can't have a barbecue. I just think it is very silly. And I just think when you look into it more, it was very dangerous for a lot of people, I think. And it scared, I know personally with my
Ima
grandparents,
ima
it scared them.
Imagine being in the cinema or the theatre when everybody's phones suddenly go
But
off.
like our friend said, he was was it a bar or a restaurant? And everybody's
Restaurant.
phones went off and it was
Mm.
deafening. You'd literally would think the world was ending. Imagine if you got
Mm.
anxiety. Like I felt really anxious afterwards, even while I was reading it, 'cause he didn't tell me straight away what the issue was.
Mm.
And then when it started mentioning barbecues, I was thinking, I'm a very anxious person, and you've just caused my stress to jump up to tell me not to have a fucking barbecue at 7 p.m. I can
Sorry, but this was my complaint. Now
I,
you've done
I
you've
made it more
hijacked it again.
entertaining.
I'm gonna wrap this up. I'm gonna wrap this up. That was my complaint. But it's now been hijacked by Josh. So Josh has
You
had
don't
two complaints this
you
week.
don't normally wrap it up.
Vile. Fun. And that is all we've got time for this week. We hope that you've enjoyed the show. But before we go, I'm going to hand over to Josh again, who's going to tell us about another little segment that we're going to be bringing you in a future episode. Don't know if it's going to be the next one or if it's going to be the one after that, but it's going to be coming up. It's going to be something that's going to be coming up. It was Josh's idea. He wants to introduce it, and I think it's a brilliant idea. So, Josh, tell us, what is this?
I'll try and be brief, Nigel, because you already told me
Please
off
do.
for talking too much.
Please do.
Now, most people know that I'm a bookworm. I love my books.
Mhm.
And I would like us to do a segment on books that are LGBT themed, not necessarily just LGBT authors, but LGBT themed as well. And I'm going to do a little brief talk about the book that I've chosen. So we're going to pick one each and alternate.
Mhm. Yep.
My first book I've picked is going to be Fruit Fly by Josh Silver.
Mhm.
And I've already started reading it. And all I'm going to say is it's about a woman called Mallory.
Mhm.
She wrote a hit novel years ago, And then ever since then, she's not really done anything. So she's kind of just settled into life with her husband and lost her way. And then she decides she wants to write a new book. And she gets the idea that when she looks on Reddit, that apparently anything to do with gay is really in right now. Anything to do with sex and being gay is really popular. Now, she's a straight woman. So she decides to join Grindr and uses her husband's pictures that she took of him to try and talk to gay people to find out the goss, to write a new hit piece. And she ends up getting into situations that are not where she should be. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
But it's really good so far. And I
Okay.
look forward to talking about it.
And I look forward to reading it. So that is, we haven't come up with a name for that little segment yet, have we? Because it's something we're going to do semi-regularly.
Yeah, I'll think of a pun for it.
Think of something. But if there's any listeners out there that can think of anything that could be used for that, then yeah, let us know. So that is literally it for this week's episode. We hope that you've enjoyed it, and thank you for listening. That's it. So until next time, stay safe and be happy.